Walt and Walter Jr. pick up their station wagon, now repaired. The mechanic goes through the list of work, all of which was covered by insurance. A stark contrast to the dangerous games Walt plays every day. He tells Walt he loves the car, adding that it could easily go another 200,000 miles. Walt, in an impulsive act, offers to sell it to him for $50, knowing he no longer has any use for it. Next, we see Walt and Walter Jr. pull into their driveway, with Walt behind the wheel of a powerful muscle car, and Walter Jr. driving something more sensible, a blatant display of Walt's ego and need for control, even as he attempts to make up for past wrongs. Lydia is at work in Madrigal's Houston location when Mike alerts her that the feds are about to pay her a visit, her carefully constructed facade now in imminent danger of collapsing. A few moments later, Hank and a team of agents walk into her office. She leads them to a warehouse, directing them to an employee who works there. They promptly arrest him, another chess piece in the game being moved off the board. Back in her office, a panicked Lydia calls Mike and says Ron's done. Mike assures her there's nothing to worry about, his calm demeanor a mask for the dangerous situation she's in. When she points out Ron was the person who handled everything in the warehouse, Mike says he'll send a new guy, confident he has everything under control. Skylar sits silently while Walt and Walter Jr. talk excitedly about their new cars, a wall of resentment and fear now standing between them. In their bedroom, Walt tries to justify his actions, telling Skylar they can explain the new cars as a birthday present and a moment of weakness for their son, adding they are both leases, a desperate attempt to seem responsible. He hands her a stack of cash, saying he needs to make up the $600,000 they lost, a band-aid for a gaping wound. She suggests an Arizona boarding school for Walter Jr., expressing her deep concern about the environment their children are living in, recognizing how dangerous they are. Walt puts his arm around her, saying there's nothing to worry about. He mentions his birthday and says he thinks a celebration would be good for the family, his need for normalcy becoming increasingly desperate. At breakfast the next morning, Skylar is completely uninterested in the fact it's Walt's birthday, her resentment towards him now bubbling at the surface. Hank and Gomez discuss the fact they are still unable to piece together Gus's operation, feeling there must be someone between Peter Schuler and Ron. Lydia's name comes up, but Gomez doesn't buy it. Hank and Gomez tell a superior they believe Mike is keeping Gus's guys from talking, and they reveal they are planning surveillance on Mike, their obsession growing stronger, and their list of suspects becoming clear. Hank even wonders if Mike might be part of a new cooking team, a possibility that is far too close to the truth to be ignored. Hank is offered a promotion to replace Merkert as the head of the department. He accepts, a move that will put him higher in the hierarchy of the investigation, adding more weight to his hunt for answers. Walt leaves the cook early, telling Jesse it's his birthday, and he expects a party waiting for him at home, his focus now solely on what he believes he deserves. At home, Skylar coldly tells Walt all that's planned is dinner with Hank and Marie, and a chocolate cake, her resentment and unhappiness palpable. On the way to dinner, Marie reluctantly tells Hank about Skylar's infidelity, another family secret now out in the open, a reminder of the lies and deceit that have completely consumed their lives. After dinner, Walter Jr. leaves to hang out with friends. The conversation turns to everything that's happened in the last year. Walt talks about the fact that a year ago he wasn't sure he'd make it to this birthday, and he thinks he should celebrate the fact that he has. Skylar listens to all of this silently and walks over to the pool. Walt continues to talk about cancer, and Skylar, without breaking eye contact, walks into the pool, fully clothed, a symbolic act of desperation. She walks to the deep end, and Walt jumps in to grab her, another moment where her despair is finally starting to show in what feels like a public way. Jesse arrives in Houston to meet with a nervous Lydia. After finally accepting that Jesse is there on Mike's behalf, she takes him to the warehouse, showing him the drum of chemicals she's erased from the records. As Jesse lowers the drum with a forklift, Lydia spots something suspicious on the bottom of the drum, her sharp eye noticing a tiny detail that could spell disaster for them all, another layer of tension building into their fragile operation. Hank tells Walt that Skylar probably needs to talk to someone. They discuss the fact the couple has been having some issues, trying to keep things superficial, but the truth remains hidden just below the surface. Marie walks in and suggests maybe she and Hank can take the kids for a few days, to let Walt and Skylar work on their marriage. Walt asks Marie who came up with the idea. She says it was Skylar, her desire to protect her children now taking full control. In their bedroom, Walt tells Skylar arrangements have been made for the kids to stay with Hank and Marie. She says she doesn't want the kids living with them anymore. Walt tries to reassure her that things are safe, but she doesn't believe him. It becomes clear she wants the children away from them for as long as Walt is back cooking. Walt starts questioning the logistics of her plans, forcing her to think through what she wants, and exposing the holes in her half-baked ideas. Eventually, she admits that she's basically waiting for his cancer to return, her despair now a conscious plan for escape from this life, and her husband, that she has come to truly despise. Walt shaves his head, another symbolic action that represents another change, and another version of himself. He gets a call from Jesse, who wants to meet. What Lydia spotted on the bottom of the barrel was a tracking device. Jesse thinks it must be the DEA, which would mean they're screwed. Mike thinks the tracking equipment looks too shoddy to be federal agents. When Jesse tells him that Lydia was the one who found the device, Mike realizes this was her attempt to scare them into cutting ties with her. Her manipulations putting her in a more dangerous position than ever before. This convinces Mike it's time to kill Lydia, saying she's too dangerous, even if it means taking a break from cooking. Jesse disagrees and calls for a vote. Walt immediately sides with Mike and says that slowing down the operation is not an option. Nothing stops this train. Nothing. His ambition driving their decisions. His moral compass now completely shattered. After the meeting, Jesse tells Walt he likes his idea, which was to continue their operation with her as a partner. I think it's the way to go, Jesse says, clearly manipulated by Walt, his own moral compass becoming compromised. Jesse gives Walt a watch as a birthday gift, an act of friendship tainted by their recent decisions and choices that could be putting them all on a path to destruction. Walt returns home to a chain-smoking Skylar and tells her there will be more money coming in soon. He asks, "Is that okay?" Walt shows her the watch and says it came from somebody who recently wanted him dead. "He changed his mind about me, Skylar, and so will you." A chilling and ominous warning for the future.